If the government in Westminster think that this is one country, then treat it like one country and don't treat us like second-class citizens.
We've had enough. We've really had enough, and we just need to get the department and Stormont and the UK government to realise this can't go on. This cannot go on, and we will voice our opinions on the street.
You go into nursing to care for people and to care for them well. You don't go in to do a half-assed job. We want to do our job and do it well, but to do that, we need to have staff and we need to have good conditions.
This is one of the largest demonstrations of working class power in this part of the island for a long time, and I think it needs to be maintained. It needs to be kept up, and the message needs to be sent. They're not just our politicians here, but our politicians in Westminster. People have had enough, and people aren't going to put up with it for much longer.
What is the situation at the moment?
At the moment, you have a situation where workers in Northern Ireland are paid less than their colleagues in Great Britain. And so whenever they got their pay raise last year, we were left behind because we have a situation here where the Secretary of State isn't willing to give us a pay offer unless our own local politicians go back in the Assembly.
Why are you out here striking this morning?
Because I'm a teacher in a secondary school, and over the last decade of Tory austerity, we've just seen cut after cut to education, and right now the system's on its knees. There are no substitute teachers. There are classes, exam classes being taught by random student teachers in it every day. It's no quality of education, and it's a disgrace that this is happening, and nobody's challenged this. Nobody wants to be out here today. We're forced to be out here today by the Tory government and by the DUP.
And if you're to give a message to the government, what would you say to them?
It would be that if the government in Westminster think that this is one country, then treat it like one country and don't treat us like second-class citizens.
So obviously all around the UK, pay has been a problem with the cost of living crisis. In Northern Ireland in particular, I'll tell you the example of college lecturers. They earn £9,000 less than school teachers. For anyone doing their equivalent job all around the UK, they are the lowest paid of any of their counterparts. Adding in addition to that, the problem we've got here of the money being held, Heat and Harris using workers as a pawn, people are on the breadline. Enough is enough because people literally cannot afford to carry on. You know, we've got people who are in their overdraft the day after payday. And for our members, college lecturers, like the backbone of the education system, do you know what I mean? Teaching adult learners, teaching people skills, and they're just being treated like they're not valuable at all. So it's not a surprise that they're on strike both today, but our members are on strike, for 13 days last year as well. There is a solution. The money is there. College bosses are hiding behind the government, and Westminster is sat there not sorting it out, and there'll be more of this if it continues.
What we've seen previously is that it's been countless times squabbling on the executive level up at Stormont hasn't led any trailblazing way for working class people across this part of the island. Instead, we've seen cuts, decimation of the public sector, stagnation in our wages, and I think it's by time that workers should stand on their own 2 feet and say clearly it's not right and it's going to end. And I think the decisive action of workers taking strike action today sets that in stone. I think this is one of the largest demonstrations of working class power in this part of the island for a long time, and I think it needs to be maintained. It needs to be kept up, and the message needs to be sent. They're not just our politicians here, but our politicians in Westminster. People have had enough, and people aren't going to put up with it for much longer.
As you all know, in the hospitals and in the community, short-staffed. We're under chronic stress, and basically we were supposed to get our pay rise last April. We're working under Agenda for Change, and we should be working in line with those in the United Kingdom, England, Scotland and Wales, and we're not getting paid the same. And it's unfair. We work hard, as with all the other sectors, the teachers, all the other unions that are out today. We just want fair pay. Everything else, cost of living's gone up, and our wages need to go up, and our conditions need to improve. The hospital wards, the hospitals in general, are packed with people. There's not enough beds. There's not enough staff on the wards. It's chronic. The health service is in a chronic state. And nursing needs to become, and the other fractions of the health service need to become more attractive to recruit into them. And we're professionals, we've had to go and educate ourselves, we've had to go to university, we've had to, sacrifice and do without to get professional jobs that aren't currently being paid professional wages.
We've had enough. We've really had enough, and we just need to get the department and Stormont and the UK government to realise this can't go on. This cannot go on, and we will voice our opinions on the street. But we're also out in support of our health workers who have never had pay parity with the rest of the UK, Scotland and Wales. They've all had their pay parity. We haven't. The NHS here has not. The workers here, and through COVID, they got clapped. They got nothing in return. They didn't get their pay rise, which was due 2 years ago, and they're still in the same situation today.
There's one party in particular in this part of the world that is at the behest of everyone else in this country who want to move forward and ensure public services and education are properly funded, and it's a situation where they're at a total political stalemate because of the Conservative Party refusing to release public funds, and also because the Democratic Unionist Party will not go back in the government in this country.
We're the classroom assistants of Down Education, and for a long time we've been held ransom by the politics of the Northern Irish government, or lack of. We cannot take it anymore. We cannot live on promises alone that do not come. We need to be taken seriously, and it's great that we've all come together, teachers, nurses, junior doctors. We all need extreme change. No more playing politics that are stuck in the past. We need it to change today.
The main concern for most of the teachers out today is that the poor pay for teachers, particularly in Northern Ireland. I mean, what we're looking for now is pay parity. Teachers in Northern Ireland are the worst paid between the Republic of Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England. So they're the poorest paid in these islands. And what that means is teaching is not an attractive profession for graduates to go into. And we want the best and the brightest teaching our children.
And if you were to give a message to the government, to the powers that be, what would you say?
That we're really disappointed by the political failure with the talks. That we know that the money is there. Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, certainly much more authoritative figure on these matters than I would be, has said that the money is there, but we need Stormont to get back up, for them to get back to work so that people today can get back to work as well.
In Stormont, is it a case of them putting petty politics ahead of the people?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason. I mean, I do blame Stormont, but at the end of the day, Heaton Harris is the man who could do this. The DUP's boycott of Stormont would appear to be about more than just Brexit, which is, I mean, they're the only party in the north who voted for Brexit, and now they're the only party who won't go to Stormont over Brexit. So, like, you can make of that what you will, but certainly they just need to work. I mean, they're of the audacity to, we're out here unpaid. They've been in Stormont for 2 years, paid. You know, we're actually doing our jobs, they're not.
What's going on up in Stormont shouldn't be impacting on public services. That should be a completely different, Chris Heaton Harris said he can't give us the budget. The money's sitting there. There's no reason why he can't give us the budget and give us that money. There's not a reason. He cannot give a viable reason why he can't give that money. He is the government. If we have no government here, he needs to act and get us our money.
You go into nursing to care for people and to care for them well. You don't go in to do a half-assed job, or it's just not enough to do the bare minimum. We want to do our job and do it well, but to do that, we need to have staff and we need to have good conditions and we need to be paid fairly. And I would say that for all the organisations that are out today, all we're standing together today. And we're standing, none of us can afford to lose money by not being in work today. But we know it's the right thing to do in our hearts is to stand and actually stand up for what's right.
There is wide support, I think, and obviously it's a tough decision for anyone to have to vote for strike action. I think it's a situation workers don't want to be in. Teachers want to be in their classrooms. Civil servants want to be providing their services. And the same with people right across the public sector. They want to be in doing a job, not out losing pay on a cold day like today. But I think knowing that the public's behind people, I think it's really important. I think we need to show that. We need to be a lot more vocal and a lot more militant about how we proceed with this, because the Tories need to hear about it, the local politicians need to hear about it, and I don't think that this is attainable for much longer.